see. Okay, it's pouring. So did he have to throw in the rain at all, or did the storm hit after he left?
No, it hit right during his throwing session. And I got to tell you, it was a little bit Roy Hobbs-esque. You know what I mean? I mean, it was a little bit the natural because it started raining very heavily right when Sam started to throw, and he did not flinch at all. He had one of the most, I would say, best pro days I've seen in a long time, and in large part due to the rain. Because, Colin, here's the thing. These pro days, there's no adversity for all these guys. I've gone around and seen all of them. I even went to Fargo, North Dakota to see your boy Carson Wentz. There's no adversity for these quarterbacks on their pro days, and then all of a sudden, here we get to USC. It never rains in California, and there is a torrential rainstorm, and Sam Darnold wanted this. He was praying for rain so that he could have some level of adversity and go out there and show the NFL community that he can throw the ball when it's wet, when the conditions are inclement, and he was fantastic. He was ripping it, man. I tell you, there was still RPMs. He was accurate. Any drops were generally on the wide receiver's side rather than Sam's side with inaccuracy. So I got to tell you, coming away from today, and this is the earliest I've said this in this process, the New York Giants are on the clock because I think the number one pick was totally solidified today.
Wow. So, by the way, you saw Wentz. You like Carson Wentz pro day. We all know Wentz is really good. He's a little bigger than Sam height-wise. Are Wentz and Darnold, are their skill sets reasonably close? Compare those two.
I think Darnold's probably a bit more athletic. He probably does a much better job when I'm watching film, when he's improvising, when he has to make a throw. Remember, Wentz dealt with injuries, and so there were a lot of games, in particular in his last year there at North Dakota State, where he wasn't 100% and he moved as such. Whereas Darnold, this guy has great subtlety in the pocket, and I think that's one of the things that I love most about him. Throws with great touch and great accuracy. And then here's the biggest point. When they need a throw, in the biggest moments of USC's season, game in and game out, he generally made those throws. I think of that Texas game. He made that incredible jump pass right down the middle of the field. If he doesn't make that pass, they don't win the game. They don't even make it to overtime. So to me, the comparisons with Wentz and Darnold are more because of their rugged nature and less because of what they actually did in college. Because when I look at what Darnold did in college, there's a lot more there. There's more substance there than there even was with Carson Wentz.
Joel Klatt was at the USC Pro Day, like what he saw. So your mock draft came out, and you have 4 quarterbacks. You have four going in the top 8. Now, it's interesting because you have Josh Rosen, UCLA, last. I had dinner last night. I can't say the team. I'm going to protect him here with an executive, NFL football executive, a big shot. And my takeaway on dinner was he had real Rosen questions on durability and escapability. Not as much, the attitude stuff. So when I see you have Rosen 4, are you hearing the same thing I'm hearing?
Yeah, I'm certainly hearing that. When you just evaluate Josh Rosen, I don't know if there's a better pure quarterback in the draft, right? You and I both see it. All of us see it. The guy plays the position beautifully. And I think in another year without some of these other quarterbacks, you'd be very much in the conversation as the number one pick. But there are a couple of concerns, and you don't even get to kind of the quote-unquote attitude concerns before some of these red flags pop up, namely, like you said, durability. One thing with Rosen is that he's just tough enough to get himself into trouble. I know that sounds a little bit interesting, but if you're a guy that is tough, and he is tough, right, then you're willing to stand in there and take shots. But the problem is he doesn't have the frame that can stand in there and take shots, much less at the college level like you will at the NFL level. We saw that time and time again, and if you can't be on the field, you can't help your team win. And I think that is right now, at least, the main sticking point when you start talking to those teams in the top 5 of the NFL draft.
So you were at Baker Mayfield's pro day a week ago, and now you're at Darnold's.
Yeah.
Is Darnold a better thrower?
Yes. Sam's the best quarterback in the draft. I think he's proven that both on tape and in his games, as well as some of these workouts that I've been able to see when you're throwing on air. Plus, I think that you go to the system and you look at what he was able to do, manipulating protections, checking plays, so on and so forth. I think he's probably further ahead of Baker Mayfield in that sense, although it is a little bit of a misnomer that they run a pure pro-style system here at USC. That was obviously the case back in the Pete Carroll days, but it's not quite as true now when you look at the number of snaps that those four guys, so I'm talking about Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, Baker Mayfield, and Sam Darnold. Those four guys, the two that took the least amount of snaps from under center by a wide margin is Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield. So Darnold still has to get under center. The difference is that that's where he cut his teeth, Colin. That's where he was raised as a quarterback. And it's much easier to go back down there like riding a bike if you've cut your teeth there and that's the way that you were raised, versus Mayfield, who back to high school has been in the shotgun. So that's the difference between the two. But if you're asking me just between the two players who I like more, who I would draft, I would take Sam Darnold. But I do think Baker Mayfield's a top 5 player.
How is his accuracy? I mean, I know he's doing it in shorts, but it was raining. His accuracy, deep ball accuracy for Darnold.
Very good. In particular, and I want to stress this, in particular, on the layered passes, 15 to 25 yards down the field, inside the numbers, as well as throwing the what I would call sail routes, which are outside the numbers on a big sail route when you're having to move in the pocket. I thought he did a great job with his quarterback coach, Jordan Palmer, of getting on the move, showing movement within the pocket, getting outside the pocket, and making throws. I thought his accuracy was very good. And trust me when I tell you this, throwing a wet football is not easy. And I'm going to come back to this. He did not flinch at all. He didn't bat an eye. He had high RPMs. He was ripping it, to kind of take the old football term. He was slinging it very well out there, even with the torrential rain.
Do you realize, what were your grades in high school?
Mine?
Yeah.
They were okay. I was an okay student.
Do you realize you were sitting on a campus you could not qualify for coming out of high school?
No. I'm well aware, Christine. I don't feel like that's quite a cut down. I did make it into the University of Colorado, and that's not a shabby school. I maybe could have qualified for USC. I
couldn't. Right now, I could not. There's no way I could have gotten. Forget football. I don't think I could have got into their radio TV department. There's no way.
Well, with your Manziel Mayfield comparison, I can see why you wouldn't get in.
Joel Klatt. Okay, put his mock draft up again. He's got Darnold, Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen. He's hearing the same thing I am on Rosen, although I'll tell you this, I do love Arizona. If Arizona moved up to get him, I love that, and I love Buffalo. Yeah. I love that, Joel Klatt. Listen, man, if you're go ahead.
I was just going to say, I love proposing trades in the mock draft rather than just going straight through, and that's why I think Buffalo's going to move up and try to get a quarterback.
I agree.
I think they're going to do so for Josh Allen, and I would do the same if I was Arizona.
Yep.
In particular, if we start to see that slide, right? We're hearing the durability questions with Rosen. If you're Arizona, it can get him at, where did I have him, 8? I think they trade up to 8.
Yeah.
That would be a terrific pick at that point, at least in my estimation.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. All right, we love you. Joel Klatt, folks, the voice of college football. Good talking to you, buddy.
You too. Have a good one, bud.
Yeah. If I was Buffalo and Arizona, I'd do that. Listen, next year's quarterback draft in college, not great. It's not great. Last year's was good. This year's is good. 2 years ago was good. Next year's not great. This year's a running back draft. There's a ton of running backs this year. I'd say there's a few pass rushers this year. Good running backs, a lot of pass rushers. The West Coast offense in football, sabermetrics in baseball, team going all in with a 3-ball on the court. Innovation in sports has always given teams the edge, which is why coaches, GMs, and players have always been on the lookout for new ways to get the job done faster, smarter, leaner, better. Same thing goes for hiring. Nobody knows the importance of innovation more than ZipRecruiter, cutting edge of candidate matching technology. This is what they do. First of all, they identify people that you want, right? They find people that have the experience. Then they invite them to apply to your job. And then one click sends your job post to over 100 of the jobs and the web's leading job boards. So ZipRecruiter's in the matching technology scouting talent business. 80% of employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate in 1 day. It's the next generation of matching technology. It is here, and it's ZipRecruiter. And right now, my listeners, try it for free. ZipRecruiter.com/herd, H-E-R-D, ZipRecruiter.com/herd.
Are you ready for your